Hello everyone, welcome back to Crowbeak's Gaming Gala, where today we are playing Solstice. It's a mystery visual novel from MoaCube, the makers of Cinders, which was also an excellent visual novel. Right now we're playing Yanni, one of our two protagonists, as she starts looking for information to try and figure out what caused the reported malfunction in the technology that keeps the city from freezing. This is her first time meeting Sim in all his unsociableness. Nothing for you to fix. Get the fuck out. Yet here I am. You're Sem, right? That's what they call me. It might not actually be my name. Wasn't Lev a frequent guest? Lev. Who's Lev? It's been a while since I played. Ah, Lev. Lev is the madman. So she's investigating the madman's disappearance right now. That's what it is. Holding on to what they know as if it was their dearest treasure. He wasn't my guest. He came here because of the dogs. So I guess Galen and Yanni are both investigating the death. Not death. The disappearance of the madman. Both shun company, but that is where the similarities end. Neither of us is a people person. He's lost in himself. Lev is obsessed with Kala, and we still don't know what Kala is. What should I ask about? He must have said something. Come on, at some point he must have said something. To you, or himself, or the dogs. I'm not asking for anything specific, but he couldn't have been silent the whole time. Huh. Spoke to everyone. As if they were weak and foolish. Well, a lot of people speak to animals as though they were children, though. I don't think that's strange, necessarily. Talks to himself. Sounds like me! Except I don't usually do it while people are around. You remind me of why I rarely speak to people. He was babbling about rituals lately, about them being the key, or maybe the way. He used way too many metaphors for me to understand or be comfortable with. What kind of rituals? Key to what? I told you, I don't know. Are you always so annoyingly curious? They may be important details. Not endless babbling. She's... You know, it's interesting that her attempt... Like, she has a purchase. She has a purpose here. And he is so uninterested in talking to people that he is ignoring her... Like, he's kind of ignoring the fact that she's asking these questions with a purpose and calling them babble or chatter or something. Why don't you just wait for him to come back? His wife is worried. She's never worried. 10 days ago or so, as I was walking my dogs, he was even less coherent than usual. So Sem also saw Lev on the day that he disappeared. Run over by a sleigh. Would you let me finish? He's telling you the story. Yeah, that's, you would think. But Lev kind of ran out. Bad influence on them. Taught them to lie? Dog whisperer. Please stop making that face. I'm just playing with you. Your dogs seem to like it, though. They're not mine. I take care of them, but they belong to the families. And of course, they liked Lev, just like children like the grandparent who spoils them. They're sled dogs, remember? And one of my mother's friends when I was younger was a dog musher. She would run the Iditarod, maybe every year. She did it, either way, she was a dog musher. And when you have a dog team like that, they're not exactly pets, you don't treat them the way someone would treat a pet. I mean, they're trained to do certain things, and since these are sled dogs, I assume the same sort of thing. They're trained to stay in line. They're trained to I mean, they're trained to run. But if you spoil them, you mess with the discipline that they need to work together as a team. So let's try flattering him. No? I did flattery before. We'll try reason. Huh. Protected only by a thin barrier. Wouldn't you want to know? Secret exit somewhere. But why would he want a secret exit out into the... Like, even if he's trying to figure out what color is... Lev smelled. Excuse me? He acted strangely, even for himself, and it wasn't just the beating that caused it. You mean he could have ingested a drug of some sort? No idea, he could have. Now, we already know that he was medicated by the doctor on the night that he disappeared. So that could be what they were smelling. Routine is important to the dogs, or that training and stuff. Feeding sled dogs is interesting, by the way. You got like 30 dogs, and they're all really hungry, and they all smell you coming with the meat. Why did you give up on people? Could dogs be used to track Lev? Let's go with why did you give up on people? I don't think I asked that before. Who says I did? Most are not worth the effort, but some of us honestly wish well. If you ever need help, all you need to do is ask. That's kind of you. You assume someone has harmed me, though. It's sweet that you see me more as a victim than a perpetrator. Sweet? I merely wanted to let you know you have nothing to worry about from me. Has it ever occurred to you that I might be the one to worry about? Is he threatening me? If I'm isolated from people, I can't harm them. I've done enough to consider it a good idea. Huh. That sounds like guilt for something that wasn't necessarily actually his fault. Maybe it was his fault, who knows. Or because people ask stupid questions. You know, whichever. So now we're at the tavern. You know, I really like the tavern. I mean, I like all the environments. I love the art in this game. But the tavern has this nice warm feeling about it, and I really like the arches, the shape of the arches, and the style of the cushions and everything. There is a certain unification of the look of the city, because if you compare this place to the bathhouse, it looks a lot alike. But if you think about it, the whole city was commissioned to be built by the families as a place for trade, and they control everything that happens here. So it kind of makes sense that the whole thing would look basically the same. Not the same, but everything would go together well. Although, if you think about it, the tavern and the baths are both places for people to go and hang out. So I guess it makes sense for them to have a similar atmosphere just in general, because they're both places for people to not necessarily gather. Kind of gather, but relax. Pretty crowded tonight. My kitchen staff has left for the true winter. Pretty crowded tonight. Doesn't everyone eat here all the time? Huh. Food tastes better when you enjoy it in the company of others. The Japanese say that sort of thing a lot. This isn't a Japanese game, but Japanese people in general prefer to do things as groups, and they will say that food tastes more delicious when you eat it with other people. I don't really feel the same way. I often prefer to eat by myself, not always, but I often prefer to eat by myself because it's a chance for me to recharge not just my body physically with food, but also my mind with a bit of time alone. Slava's sitting with Laura. And then we have the option of what's-her-face and the captain of the guard. When I did this before, I sat with Laura and Slava because I didn't know much about Laura. So let's go check out these two. Kasia and Yakone, that's her name. I always forget her name. What for? You saved my life. Oh, you owe me nothing. And contrary to what those idiots in the tribes would say, I am not responsible for you. Those idiots in the tribes, huh? A rebellious stage. Young, brilliant, and ready to attack anything you say. That's a load of crap. Sounds like case in point. Have you met Cassia the Wise already? He's the head of the town's guard. He should protect us, but instead he prefers to ridicule. Forces help us if he's as good with a sword as he is with a joke. I see you have quite a battle going on here. It's our way of killing time instead of each other. Now these folks should know each other. They've both been working for the families and in the city for years, and they are probably always here together in the winter. Everyone seems to know each other really well. Ooh, I just bumped the microphone cord. Hopefully that didn't. Hopefully that doesn't sound too awful. I apologize. Having beer. Beer is good. Let us drink beer together. At night, the winds sing louder and the dome hums a tune. As the snow grows thicker on the walls, it soaks up more and more of our hope. Oh my god, that is so depressing. I love it. So we gather and drink to return the warmth and wait for the tides to turn after Solstice passes. You can feel the mood already, can't you? I've never been good at small talk. How did you end up here? Tell me about yourselves. Coffee talk. Oh, that's rich. That's a question you never ask in this city. Plans for the future? Sure, one can always lie or get all dreamy. The present? It's nice to gossip and debate. But what compelled someone to sign a compact? That story is usually painful, sometimes even shameful. I hadn't realized. I'm sorry. Don't be. Only cowards are ashamed of their choices. I came here on an assignment. I saw how strong and efficient this city was. It was my own decision to shun the teachings of my tribe and learn from those who had more to offer. Nature intended the strong to win. I see no shame in surviving. Do you regret that decision even a little? She won't admit it, but she does. I've seen you stare at the western snow when you think no one's looking, Yakone. Stop your nonsense, Cassia. I suppose you consider yourself wise. Good thing your word doesn't matter here. She is prickly. She bristles. I kind of like her. Though I don't know who I would have to choose if I was going to go for a favorite character. It's really hard to say. They're all so fleshed out and so interesting. Locals are no better. They want magic to guide them. It's just weakness wrapped in superstition. Weakness wrapped in superstition. That's an interesting description. You can't know that for sure. Are you blind? Even the mystical Kala was created by the families. They had the means to force most citizens into obedience, but some still resisted. This was their solution. Huh. You know, I don't remember the exact contents of the conversation Galen had with her earlier, but she was talking about Kala as a force that existed here before the city came. She must be talking specifically about the version of Kala that they have, because they applied the name Kala to it, to the whatever it was. Motivated, addicted, and gave purpose. It's an interesting... Addicted. Well, Lev is definitely addicted. An interesting theory. Your tribes believe Kala is real, Yakone. A force of nature, they say. Some scholars even claim it's a crystal with unusual properties. I also heard an herbalist saying Kala is nothing but a word conveying huge power to those who know how to unlock it. You don't truly believe the implausible tales he tells, do you? Such things do not exist. Tell him. You're asking me? Little knowledge on this. But you do have an opinion, don't you? Let's go with anything as possible. If I can't be certain, I have to keep my eyes open and prepare for every possibility. It's stupid to rule something out without proper evidence. I am a magical agnostic. I'll tell you another story then, one my tribe is sure of. You know how the winter solstice is coming? They say it's a feminine season. Only wise women can perform rituals and lead the tribe at this time. A man would go insane as the power waking now is female. Only women are able to harness it. That's interesting. Interesting set of lore there. Why are you preaching something you don't believe? Good question. By this logic, our Cassia is wrong, even mad, and you should both listen to my feminine wisdom. At least until summer comes. None of those tales are true. Only a fool would believe them. What did he believe in? He was a respected professor who read one book on Kala too many. So someone with a trained mind and vast knowledge on the subject believed Kala was real after all? Kala is an obsession, a disease some are prone to. Man, Cassia, this sword guy, likes to make pretty turns of phrase. Curiosity about Kala, steering conversations toward it. Are you feeling well, Yanni? Are you feeling yell? Let's not ask questions. Why don't we remain in the Stone Age while we're at it? Good. Let's focus on something more important. Drinking! Has the beer come yet, then? Beers! I'm a fan of beer. I did not used to be a fan of beer. Then I started drinking beer, and I became a fan of beer. What? I am not fond of all beers. Definitely not fond of all beers. Interesting that I'm getting this conversation with Laura even though I didn't sit with them, by the way. Look, I know Istvan told you to investigate Lev's case. He didn't tell me why. He never does. But never mind that. I have something you might need. There are two things, actually. The first is a bit of information. Or rather, a warning. What you said back there. You are wise not to discredit any possibility. What do you mean? I too believe in the supernatural. You know what my fate cards told me? Oh right, she digs tarot cards. I forgot about that. What? Be wary of the doctor. If I remember correctly, if you actually go and sit with her and Slava, you get to do a tarot reading. But I can't remember if it comes out the same if you're part of the conversation or not. Death surrounds him. It's in his destiny. Okay, that did occur if you actually go and sit with them instead of Yokone and Kaseya. Is he going to die or someone close to you? I told you I don't know. Please, I just wanted to warn you and to give you this. It's a key. I wonder what it could open. ... It's been a while since I recorded the other episodes. So if you're not watching this all at once in the playlist, if you're watching it as I produce these, you may also have forgotten that Galen was given Lev's journal by Slava, his wife. And I'm just gonna say right now, the key definitely goes to the book. Although when I first played this, or when I played this the first time, I assumed even then that the key went with the book. So, pretty obvious. Like, it's a pretty obvious thing to do with the two protagonists. They both have half of this, the lock and the key. And Galen said that the lock is magically protected, in addition to being an actual physical lock. So, without this key, if you tried to open the book, who knows what would happen. Anyway, something just happened. I don't know if you saw the little puff of dust that came down from the top. But, oh, there we go. More dust. Earthquake or an explosion? Coming from the main square. Here we go. I was getting worried. An entire day and I was no closer to finding Lev. It became more and more evident something must have gone wrong. Was there ever a good reason for a man to disappear from a place that had no way out? This is Galen, by the way. You can tell from the background behind the journal. But even asking about him was interfering with a balanced system of secrets and personal goals. A system where respecting other people's privacy was the first and most important rule of conduct. The stuff that Cassia was telling Yanni about, not asking people about their past and how they end up coming to sign a compact and live in the city, goes along with that. Secrecy, privacy, these are sort of the ways of the people who have made this city their home through one way or another. And we'll find out more as we go through the game about how everyone came to be here. But for now, it's just taboo to ask. That said, I'm going to end this here. If you're liking what you're seeing, I encourage you to buy the game. It's available both on and off Steam for Windows and Mac, I believe. Information for that is in the description. And yeah, have a good one. When I next come back with another episode of Solstice, we will have Galen talk to Constance. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.